Hey everybody, it's Tim with Broken Dice bringing you another little channel update. This is the final installment for the ones for my English Civil War project. Some of you are probably going, yay, get on to something else, old man. But, well, it's been my passion project for this year, and I just wanted to share this a little bit. What did I learn? When you step into a time period of which you've read stuff, but you're not really like going to do anything with what you read, it's different than when you begin this sort of a project. So my suggestion is, no matter what you think you know, go back, research, research, research. Learn that. Second thing is, reach out to other groups. On Facebook, I've sent out questions, and on several of the groups that I've joined. Let's see. The first one I like to Pikeman's Lament. There's good information on there because even though they're playing Pikeman's Lament, they still have to paint, and there's a lot of places you can go to ask questions. Pike and Shot, 28 millimeters, a good one. Warlord's Pike and Shot, 1500 to 1700. Another nice little website to go to. And the one I spend the most time on is 17th Century Wargaming. Go to those sites. Join them. Join the group. Post your pictures. Ask questions. I got a lot of critique and a lot of feedback, a lot of suggestions of where to go to find information. So use that as a resource. Okay, I can't tell you how helpful that's been. Secondly, with other time periods that I've painted, I've normally done enough, especially with my ancients. I kind of have a kind of a vision and a methodology that kind of mesh together, and it becomes a process. Well, this is my first venture into this time period, and so I had to kind of at first kind of find my way around in this time period, to discover my method and to discover my own personal process, because you got to remember that you can take tips from other painters and you can take ideas, but eventually, like with every other skill that you acquire in life, you have to eventually make it your own. You have to absorb that information and apply it in a way that is useful to yourself. It took me a while to do that, but I finally discovered it. And my method would not be your method or anybody else's, but I'm going to talk about some of the processes that I use, the paints basically, that I use to do this project. First off, if you're going to be doing a lot of buff coats, I suggest Desert Yellow by Army Painter. If you just want to, let's get a nice base down, paint the pants, the stockings, the shoes, the weapons, the hat, and then trim out your leather, and you're good to go. That helped out, and especially with the infantry units. Let's see, and for those that like to do the brown, black, white, gray primers, there's some other colors I'm going to suggest once you've done that. Now, sometimes, like with the horses and everything, I like to use this leather brown as a base coat. Especially now, we're talking plastic models here. We're not talking metal models. Now, primer for metal models. This, I don't think Army Painter does. It's never worked for me very well on my metal models. I have a different sort of paint that I use for that. So if you do your white or black or gray primer, and then you want to go back and start with your buff coats, one that I use, let's get this out here. Japanese uniform from Vallejo. And, believe it or not, aptly named English uniform. And because of my method of using a heavy wash that tends to tone each one of them down, they look a little bit the same, but just enough variation to where you can catch it with your eye, I believe, especially when you're looking at them on the tabletop. For those that want to go back and redo their leather, then I use Vallejo's, let's do this one, leather brown. Or sometimes I applied burnt umber as part of the leather. For the pants, I went with grays, blacks, and I really like this color here, this Vallejo medium gray. It's very useful, and it, you know, depending on what you want to wash it with, can give it different kind of a different look, you know, for your different washes that you can apply on there. And then I have used some Vallejo dark gray. Actually painted a horse the light gray, I do believe. I think it's back here in the back in the Crusader unit. And then my standard, I use some black for the pants as well. Now for the pikes and the guns, or muskets, let's use the right terminology. Yeah, I would start sometimes with this burnt umber, and then I would either go over it with this smoke to give it a really dark color. And then I would finish it off with this Vallejo wood grain, which I really like on the pikes. I really like that. It gives it that oiled finished look, which a lot of my units don't have that on there. I wanted the unit to look not too uniform that way, but I do like that process. So if you wanted to do that, more power to you. Get after it. No, that's about it. It's the last of this video set. I'm going to move this camera up, just pan over, kind of move it a little bit. Hope I don't make anybody motion sickness. There's on my left, it's right. And if you notice the banners, again, I got that little tidbit of information, and where you put a little bit of aluminum foil in between the pre-printed paper sides of a banner. Put your adhesive down, and what I normally did, I rolled the ones that have the wavy wind look. I rolled them with like a pencil or a little pen, a writing pen, and just enough to give it some like it's blowing in the wind. And then we'll move over to the Army's left, my right. Yeah. So obviously with this project, I still have many, many, many things to do. Baggage train. I have a petard team I want to do. Got some more cavalry units to do. But those will come in sparingly through the year as a break from my other projects and stuff. So I hope everybody has a wonderful new year. Next year's project, speaking of the new year, will probably either be Dark Ages or Medieval. I mean, Dark Ages or Ancients, and I'm not quite sure which one. I'll just have to bite the bullet and just jump in and do one. And I think that's about it. Everybody have a safe new year. If you're going to go out, you know, always remember, pick that phone up and call a friend if you have too much. But other than that, you guys have a great new year, and I will see you soon with a new video and a new project.